You could tell the look on their face. They thought that we were a naughty group and that we were probably being sent to the ship jail. Colin all cruisers, my name is Colin, and in today's video, I went where no guest is supposed to go. I took the all access tours and got to go behind the scenes to check out how the ship is run, how they make sure they've got enough food on board for everybody, and how do they get those linens so clean. If you're thinking about taking this excursion or you just want to know more about it, stay tuned because I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to decide if this is the excursion for you. Spoiler alert, it is. Alright, so the all access tour. Get to feel like a VIP for the day, go behind the scenes, walk along the famous I-95 and see the inner workings of your cruise vacation. This was an excursion to remember. Typically only offered on sea days, this excursion is led by a member of the Shore X excursion team, the onboard excursion team. You'll first of all meet at your pre-designated location. You will have to provide some waivers explaining that you're not under the influence of alcohol, that you accept any risk and liability, and that you understand that you will be security screened as well. You are told to wear closed-toed shoes and long pants. Shorts and flip-flops or sandals are not permitted. They will send you back to your cabin to get changed, providing there's enough time for you to do that. Otherwise, you will not be permitted onto the excursion. This is for your safety as well as the safety of everybody around you. At the moment, in the current climate, they are of course providing N95 masks to keep you and the crew safe from each other. We were met with champagne and strawberries, something I was not expecting, especially when I just signed a waiver saying I'm not under the influence of alcohol. Felt a little bit trapped, but I took a few sips of the champagne, and we also got a little welcome kit with various things including our pass, some sanitizer, and a couple of little fun goodies. You start your tour off in the dining room where you learn a little bit about how the dining room is run. The excursion sometimes includes the opportunity to set up a table the way that your serving team will do so. And following our dining room tour, we made our way into one of the galleys. The galley tour was absolutely fascinating. It was really interesting to learn how the food is ordered, how far in advance the food is ordered, which is 3 months in advance, the level of calculations, predictions and estimates that go into determining how much food to order for each individual cruise, and not only that, but right up to the day of each day of the sailing is trying to work out how much food to pre-prepare in advance so that the galley can run as smoothly and as efficiently as possible rather than making absolutely everything from scratch every single time an order comes in. Technology is a massive factor in this, way more than I had anticipated. It was really interesting to see all the different stations, how the servers or waiters actually know which stations to come to get the various food, and how the galley know when food's been picked up by each individual server and which table it's even going to. This is really useful if you've got dietary restrictions or allergies, as it does make sure that all the food gets to the right people. We also got a chance to see their onboard bakery with the bakers hard at work getting all the bread ready for the dinner service at this point. After a trip to the galley, we were then taken down into the inventory area. So I mentioned the 3 months ahead, they are ordering food through the inventory manager, who allows himself a month to gather all of the order requests from the galley and from all the other departments on board as well. He's not just ordering food, he's ordering beverages, he's ordering souvenirs, clothing, linens, towels, you name it. Anything that you can get on board, either to purchase or to use, has to be ordered through the inventory manager, all the equipment, everything. So he places his orders 2 months ahead of time. So that gives him a month to collate prepare everybody's orders and get them ready for dispatching out to the various vendors and suppliers. We did get a tour of the different boxes, such as the deep freeze, the refrigeration units, the produce units, and various others. Really cool to see how the inventory is stored, how it's rotated, and how it is used up. Very fascinating to see, and a great presentation from Anand, the inventory director. After inventory, we were off into the control room to meet Alexandra and Igor. Now, before going into the control room, the security team do meet you and will do the wands and pat down and make sure that make sure you're not carrying anything that's not permitted into the control room. We got to see into the engine room via the computers. We got to understand a little bit about how the control room basically manage every aspect of the ship. So, they're measuring the water, they're measuring the engine, they're measuring the electricity on board, they're measuring temperatures, anything. And if one thing goes wrong on one part of the ship, they're alerted to it so that they can dispatch engineers and technicians to be able to resolve those issues quickly. They could be issues from, something like engine failure, it could be the air conditioning failing, it could be a water supply issue, even down to the boxes, the refrigeration units not working because we can't have spoiled food on a ship. So, they monitor really all aspects of the ship, and it's fascinating to see this control room with computer monitors and screens everywhere, and just learning about what exactly they do, the types of maintenance that goes on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. It really was quite fascinating. After the control room, we were escorted through to the incinerator, or as Manish liked to call it, the recycling centre. So Manish is the environmental officer on board, one of 5 people that reports to the captain, as he informed us, and it's his job to process all of the waste and all of the recycling on board, from solid waste to liquid waste. We got to learn more about the recycling centre, some of the incentives that are in place from local governments and authorities, and as well as how they pass on those incentives to employees who show an eagerness and a willingness to help with the recycling. It was explained to us that all of our personal trash that's accumulated on board is taken down for sorting. Every can, every bottle, every piece of recyclable paper is removed, and only true waste or anything that truly should be in the landfill is then taken to the landfill. We learned about food waste and how any inorganic matter is screened and removed from food waste, and then how that food waste is treated and disposed of in an environmentally sound way. It was also fascinating to learn how smoke is treated on board, and something that I had noticed but hadn't really taken notice of is the fact that cruise ships typically have white smoke and not grey or black smoke coming out of the funnels anymore. And that is because the smoke is actually treated before it's released into the environment. All of the hazardous materials are in fact removed, and what you're essentially left with is water vapour, which was truly fascinating. We did also learn how onboard drinking water is generated or purchased when required, and also the differences between grey water and black water, which kind of sounds gross, kind of is gross, but it's a fascinating process where our wastewater from the shower, from the toilet and from the sink is converted, cleaned and purified, and then what exactly they do with that water. From the recycling centre, we then went off to laundry. The ship I was on is one of the smaller ships, so it was really interesting to hear that Wassel say that they handle over 21,400 pounds of laundry every single day. From linens to bed sheets to the crew's clothes to the guests' laundry requests, they handle everything. It's a full-time operation, it never sleeps, there's always something needing washed, there's always something needing laundered, there's always something needing pressed. The laundry room was not really a room, it was a massive maze of rooms with heavy equipment and heavy machinery and really fantastic processes to make sure that everything runs as efficiently as possible. The laundry machines are so large that when the ship is being built, the laundry machines are actually dropped in before the decks above are actually completed, because that's the only way they can get them into the laundry room. So that was quite fascinating, a little fact to learn. After the laundry room, we got to the exciting part of the tour, which was up to the bridge. Again, we need a second security screening at this point. This one was actually quite a funny security screening, because the first one was done behind the scenes, because the control room's behind the scenes. But to get to the bridge, you do actually have to go out into the open, out in public. The bridge is inconspicuously just behind one of those crew-only doors that you'll often see in your corridor. So you could actually be a couple of doors down from the bridge and maybe not even realise it. As we're getting our security screening, screening. Several people were walking past and you could tell the look on their face. They thought that we were a naughty group and that we were probably being sent to the ship jail, which we didn't get to see, but they confirmed there is one. Anyway, all jokes aside, the security screening does take place for obvious reasons, and again, the security team escorted us into the bridge. Now, you no longer get a full access to the bridge. That has been roped off now. For the purposes of the excursion, you do get kept into one corner, which is fine. It still is fascinating getting to see the bridge overall. No video footage is allowed in the bridge. It was unclear at the time if photos would be allowed. It is dependent on the situation at hand. Obviously, for safety and security concerns, there may be information that is not that cannot be photographed. We were fortunate on this tour, or at least I was fortunate, because I was really looking to make sure I had something to show you from this excursion, that photography was allowed this time. So I was able to snap a few photos of the bridge for you. Again, we learned a little bit about how the controls work, how the ship manoeuvres, and also some of the roles and responsibilities of the officers on deck. We learned that when the ship is an autopilot, you'll always need one officer manning the controls in case they need to take the ship off of autopilot, and you'll always have someone on lookout, keeping an eye out for any smaller vessels or any sea life that could be in the way that we may need to be aware of, or of course any obstructions up ahead that we may need to steer clear of. Obviously, when the ship is no longer an autopilot, more people need to be brought in, so there's a process and protocol for that. We also got to learn a little bit about Night Watch, and we learned some fun information about the fact that the captain has some controls and some of the screens and monitors in his or her cabin as well. So in this day of working from home, even the captain gets to work from cabin sometimes. So I wanted to share as much information about this particular excursion as possible to whet your appetite. What I've shared with you is just a fraction of what you're going to learn on this tour. It's just a preview. I don't want to give you too much information because otherwise the tour will be boring. There's so much more to learn. I would say this is one of the highest recommendations I can give, is to definitely take advantage of this all access tours. It's really exciting to get a chance to go behind the scenes to see how our hard-working crew work so diligently to make the ship run as smoothly as possible. And I'm not just talking about the waves and the sailing of the ship. I'm talking about everything from the hotel staff to the entertainment staff and the dining team. Highly recommend this. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity if you're a cruise lover like I am. So yeah, definitely go and check that one out. I'm actually curious, has anyone done a behind-the-scenes tour before? I know that there are various different types of behind-the-scenes tours on various different cruise lines, and even across same cruise lines they can change. So if you've done one, maybe like the entertainment backstage tour, let me know in the comments what your favourite part of the tour was. And if you've never done the behind-the-scenes tour, let me know which part you're most excited to see. If you liked this video, please do give me the thumbs up. It lets me know that this is the kind of content I should keep putting out. And if you are a fan of this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. And if you ring that notification bell, then you'll be notified every time I drop more videos just like this one. In the meantime, calling all cruisers family, happy sailing.